this time we are looking at Kenrith, the Returned King, Grouphug or Optimized Grouphug. So for those of you who don't know the Grouphug strategy, it is all about every player having fun at the command table and giving out cards, lands and so on to other players. I'm looking to maybe get a little bit more Grouphug in here and maybe another solid win con that plays off the hug. As of now, I've played a combo off or on X spells. One of my win cons does nothing. So we'll have a look at this one. So we get to Architect. I already created a deck and now we will import all the cards from the Kenrith deck. And wait a moment for them to actually get here. And wait another moment. And probably a couple more moments. Any moment now. Okay, perfect. All cards have been found. So let's get Kenrith out of the way. So first of all, I want to have a look at which cards are they're just for the player itself, which card help everyone, and then also how they helps everyone. So we will sort through different Grouphug effects. Now, first of all, we have more mana Grouphug at the beginning of your end step. Untap all lands you control. This is not Grouphug. This is just for yourself. So we will just call this one Ego cards and create this one. Now, Training Ground, again, super powerful card. Activated abilities of creatures you control cost up to 2 less to activate, especially powerful with Kenrith. We'll just put this to Ego cards nonetheless. Smothering Tide is a Stacks card, and let me just... Yeah, so he seems to have cards that ramp everyone. Now, if you have cards that ramp everyone, you probably do not want to play stuff like Heuristic Study or Smothering Tide that force other people to pay mana, since if they need to pay mana and they have a lot of mana, they probably will, so these cards won't do anything for you. And also Stacks is not really considered Grouphug, so we will just put these into the Stacks category, which we will remove for sure. Now we have some mana for everyone. This one is basically a mana doubler, so whenever a player taps a land for mana, it produces an additional type of that mana. Same is true for Heartbeat of Spring, so again more mana for everyone, and you can already see that these two types of cards do not work well together. Now, next up is Rite of Flourishing. Beginning of each player's draw step, the player draws an additional card. Each player may play an additional land on each of their turns. So again, mana for everyone. Happily Ever After. When Happily Ever enters the battlefield, each player gains 5 life and draws a card. At the beginning of your upkeep, if there are 5 colors among permanents you control, there are 6 or more card types among permanents you control and or cards in your graveyard, and your life total is greater or equal than your starting life total, you win the game. So, okay, this one is a really nice win con, since you can probably get people off your back and at the same time give them stuff. Now, I think I already saw a second win con, Approach of the Second Sun. You cast this one, it gets 7 from top from your deck, and then if you cast it again, you just win the game. So this one is another nice win con. Now, we have a Tutor, so this one is an Ego card. This one is an Ego card. This one is an Ego card, since it's all not target player. So this Insurrection is another win con. Untap all creatures and gain control of them until end of turn. They gain haste until end of turn. So I can see why this card is in a Grouphug deck, since you give everyone the resources to play up a big board, and then you take all of their boards and then you kill them with them. But I'm really not sure if I like this one. Well, this one is another Ego card. Now we have Pierce Whim. Pierce Whim allows you to either remove stuff or let people tutor out lands. And tutoring out lands is great, because I'm thinking right now of a win con that will allow you to mill a couple of lands. Now I will just need to fetch the card's name, because I have no clue what it's actually called. It has been ages, so I know it's blue-black. I know it's either an instant or a sorcery, so I probably mill until lands. I think there's a card that lets you mill until you mill X lands. Okay, so this one is Library, Graveyard, X lands. Damn it. UB mill cards. Probably find it here. Mind Funeral, right. I think there's another one like this. So Mind Funeral, target opponent reveals card from the top of his or her library until 4 land cards are revealed. That player puts all cards revealed this way into his or her graveyard. And I think this card already also exists with X. So this one is a great win con for a Grouphug deck, since you will help people to get out their lands, or mill in general is a great win con for Grouphug decks, since you will help people to draw a lot of their deck, and especially tutor lands out of their deck. And so if you then just mill them until they find no more lands, they don't have anything to retrieve from their deck, and then you're fine and they are dead. So that one is an idea, but I think there's another card just like this that you pay X for, but I'm not... Where is it? Give me a second. Now what is the... not Archive. No, Archive Trap is not what I'm searching for. This one is also not what I'm searching for. Consuming Aberration. Whenever you cast a spell, each opponent reveals card from the top of his or library until he or she... Okay, so these two spells are nice win cons. Maybe I was thinking of Consuming Aberration. So this one again just mills until they find a land. So what is the actual wording? Reveals cards from library until land card. Until land. Let's try with this one. Maybe we get... Okay, so we have the Consuming Ever... Mind Grind, that was the card that I was looking for. So Mind Grind, each opponent reveals cards from the top of his or her library until he or she reveals X land cards, then puts all cards revealed this way into his or her graveyard. X can't be 0, so you're ramping everyone up a bunch, and then you help them to search for lands that they're not there anymore, and then they just die, which is fun, fine. Another one would be Trepanation Blade. This one also mills until it finds a land. So yeah, these cards we will keep in mind. So let's just add some cards. Mind Funeral. Oh wait, I should probably... Okay, I will just make some notes. I will add them later because I don't want to confuse them with their actual cards. Mind Funeral, Consuming Aberration, Mind... What was the last one that I was looking for? Mind Grind, and also Trepanation Blade. Okay, so Undercity Informer is probably too slow, even though you can recur with Kenrith. Destroy Evidence is not what we are looking for. And yeah, Blast. So maybe the Undercity Informer, I'm not sure. But probably too slow. Okay, so we'll just leave it at these cards at the moment. And I will first continue to sort a deck. So again, Ghostly Prison, another stacks piece that prevents your opponent from attacking you, since he's only playing one of those effects. So there are a lot of those effects. In fact, you have Ghostly Prison, which says that creatures can attack you unless their controller plays 2. And you probably can already see the problem here, because if you have Ghostly Prison out, you give your opponents a lot of mana, they can probably pay the price. There's also Propaganda. Propaganda if you want to have this effect in blue. There's also Costco Falls if you want to have this effect in black. And there's also Elephant Mirrors if you want to have this effect in green. So there are a lot of ways to get this effect, and Propaganda is, well, one of the best. So the Ghostly Prison is probably one of the best, but again, not if you give your opponents a lot of mana. So we will probably take this one out. There's also one more, and this is there's another blue one. Oh, I don't know the name. Let me just search for it. And wait, I have a few more. Yeah, a few more. And attack you unless. Let's just search for that. So yeah, we also have Collective Restraint. This was the one that I was looking for. I think this one is a lot better, since all the regular effects cost 3, or 4 in case of black, or 1 in case of green, and then cumulative upkeep. And they always force your opponent to pay 2. Now, Collective Restraint forces your opponent to pay X, where X is the number of basic land types among lands you control. So if you include a desert in your deck, you can actually have your opponents pay 6 whenever they are attacking you. And this is a lot harsher to pay than 2. So Collective Restraint will probably go in. Because 6 is something that even if you got rammed by a bunch of mana, you cannot pay that easily. Yeah, as you can see, there are a lot of these effects that we are not going to include here because they are just way too expensive. Yeah, there are a lot of... Oh yeah, Safety Sphere is also nice if you have a lot of enchantments. This is actually a card that I run in my enchantment deck. Creatures can't attack you unless they pay X for where X is the number of enchantments you control. So this one might be worth it. How many enchantments does here? Okay, not that many. Forget it. It's not worth it unless we are adding a lot more enchantments here. Now at the beginning of each player's upkeep, untap all creatures and lands. So this is again mana for everyone. Now what else? We have the Widowclaw Talisman, which is a tutor, Hug tutor. And again, there's another one. This is called Scheming Symmetry. Now, what's great with Hug tutors is that they allow you to tutor for something that you need yourself, and then you can just do politics with an opponent and convince him to get something some kind of removal for that gets rid of a threat that you both care about. So notice, then we have another ego card. We have the Illusionist Bracers, which will double up the commander's ability, which will allow you to help other players. So I will just activated ability. So we'll have a look at how many activated abilities he is actually running. What I'm currently wondering is that he's not running Feldergriff or questing Feldergriff, just to pull those two cards up. Feldag... Damn it. Okay, let's just go for advanced and let's just go for the type line. I think it's hippo. I think there are only 2 hippos in the game, right? Ah, well, there are 6. But it's also not what I was searching about, damn it. Feldergriff. No, there are 2 Feldergriffs. No, I just need to... Okay, so P-H-E-L-D-G... Okay, let me just... P-H-E-L-D-G-A-G-R-R-E-F. Okay, so there are 2 Feldergriffs. One of them is quite great, and the other one is okay at best, but unfortunately the one that's quite great is not a legendary creature, so let me just pull them up on Scryfall. So we have the Feldergriff. This one is a legendary creature, so this one is actually what I ran as my Grouphug commander back in the days. It has banned colors, so you don't have access to all 5 colors, and for green mana, it gains trample, and an opponent of your choice puts a 1/1 green hippo creature into play. You have you can pay 1 white mana, and then another target player gains 2 life, and Feldergriff gains flying, which is... And you can play a blue mana to return it to your hand, and target opponent draws a card. So yeah, that's really pure Grouphug. And then you have the questing Feldergriff, and this one is really more interesting, since for green, itself gets a +1/+1 until end of turn, and an opponent gets a 1/1 green hippo creature token. So actually you have an advantage of paying this multiple times each turn because you will have a big creature to hit someone in the face with. For white, it gains protection from black and red until end of turn, so 2 very prominent removal colors, and target opponent gains 2 life. And for blue, it gains flying until end of turn, and target opponent draws a card. So you don't need to return it to your hand and play it again like with Feldergriff. So we will probably maybe add a questing Feldergriff for some more Grouphug here. So we have Holding Mine, which is again, which is the first draw for everyone. So Holding Mine basically is you draw 2 cards each turn and everyone else does too, as is Horn of Greed. Well, Horn of Greed, to be honest, is whenever a player plays a land, the player draws a card, which is, yeah. So we have Helm of Awakening, which reduces the costs for all spells by 1 generic mana for everyone. So again, this one is mana for everyone, and this one is super. So while it's Grouphug, I really would not play it because it's... You don't really fathom how powerful a 1 mana cost reduction is until you actually played a card that reduces the cost of all of your spells by 1 mana and you played some mana rituals. So this one is maybe even too Grouphuggy for Grouphug. The cost of each creature's ability requiring activation cost is reduced by 1. Yeah, this one is again mana for every. Wait, is it actually with the? Let me just pull this one up. The actual ruling, Hearthstone, just so really. Damn. So what is it called again? Heatstone. Heatstone. Hearthstone. Here we have it. Activated ability costs of creatures cost. Yeah, okay, so this one reduces the activated ability costs of all creatures in play by 1. Again, this can be quite dangerous depending on what your opponents are running, but it also synergizes quite well with the commander, since all but one of his activated abilities cost additional colorless mana, so yeah, we'll probably leave this one in. Gira Pro Orrery. Each players may play an additional land, and they also draw an additional card, so draw for everyone and also mana for everyone. Now we have more ego cards which are color fixing, ego cards. Now what else do we have? We have walking, well, we have Teferi's Protection, which is protection cards, which are fine, since yeah, you will need to defend yourself. Counter spells are also fine because you will need to prevent someone from actually winning the game. Now, Obligation is a great removal spell, since it is removal and Grouphug at the same time, since you actually let someone draw 2 cards. So you could even use this to just give someone, I don't know, one of their useless artifacts back into their deck and then let him draw a couple of cards. Now, so let's get Obligation to remove. Wait, don't we already have removal? Apparently we do not. Removal. So let's get for removal. Noxious Revival is recursion. Again, well, it's probably fine to recur some win cons, but yeah. Intellectual Offering is again, choose an opponent, you and that player draws 3 cards, and you also and another target opponent, or maybe the same target opponent, just gain a bunch of stuff. So we have another removal that fits the board, the theme, and another. We have an Ego Tutor, so this one just tutors for an enchantment. We have Cyclonic Rift, which is again removal and a great one at that, and we have Nakan Denial, which is another counter spell, which is fine. Now we have Windfall, which let everyone draw, and letting everyone draw is a valid win con for Grouphug based deck, so you basically aim to get everyone drawn out. Now let's just put Windfall to draw for everyone. Now we have the Tempts, and Tempt is basically, this was a cycle in I think 2016's Commander deck, so maybe 2017, no idea. Basically you do something, and then each opponent can do something, and then you can do it again for each opponent who did it. So we have Tempt with Discovery. This one is actually great, since it really supports the idea that I had with the Mind Grind as a win con. Tempting Offer. Search your library for a land card. Note that's not basic land, but it's land. And put it onto the battlefield. Each opponent may search his or her library for a land card and put it onto the battlefield, and then for each opponent who did this, you do it again. Now, if you use this card in high-powered metas, everyone will just search for Strip Mine and destroy all the good lands you got for yourself, or maybe even destroy. So in high-powered metas, this is probably not going so well for you usually, but in low-powered metas, it's really a great way to mill everyone out. Now, return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, each opponent. Okay, so this one is just returning a lot of creature cards. We'll have a look there. So let's put this to generic Hug. That's not actually doing something else for us. Now, Tempt with Vengeance. Put X 1/1 red elemental creature tokens with haste onto the battlefield. Each opponent may put X. Okay, X is paid here. May also put, and then you put X. Okay. So this one is. So you give everyone a bunch of creatures, and you give yourself a lot more creatures. And then you probably hit people. And they probably won't like it. So I wouldn't really count this one as a Grouphug card. And also usually nobody is going to accept this offer unless they are really in need of blockers. So I think this card goes out. I don't see this one working really well in a Grouphug deck. I mean, if you had anthems to actually power your tokens up and so on, this one could be really good, but you don't. Now the blue one. Choose target creature you control. Put a token onto the battlefield that's a copy of that creature. Each opponent may also copy something, and then you copy also. Okay, so how many creatures do we actually have that we can copy that are not legendary? Okay, so these are most of our creatures. Yeah, so yeah, I can see this one maybe working. Let's put it to generic hack for now. You and target opponent each draws 3 cards. Perfect. Card draw is always fine. Pierce Whim, again, this one doubles as removal or land ramp for everyone. So for each player you can choose friend or foe. Each friend searches the library for a land card. Note land, not basic land. And puts it onto the battlefield tapped. And each opponent sacrifices an artifact or enchantment they control. So this is again mana for everyone. And this is Mind Funeral, which I put here myself. So we put it to another add pile. Then we have Culling Ritual, which is a board wipe that rams you for a bunch, and then what? So it's a board wipe. And you get a lot of mana. Let's put it to removal. Not here, but removal. Now let's have a look at our creatures. We have Zotar Ancient. Whenever a player taps a land for mana, that player adds 1 mana of his or her mana pool. Yeah, okay, so this one is again mana for everyone. Walking Archive comes into play with a +1/+1 counter. Beginning of each player's upkeep, draws a card for each player. Ooh, nice. So this one is basically another big holding mine. Veteran Explorer. Each player may search a library for up to 2 basic lands. Nice mana for everyone. I think there are a couple more of those. There was another Grouphug cycle in Commander. Collective, I think. Give me a second. Collective Voyage. Yeah, this one will also go in here. There's also Join Forces. So basically, this is an X spell, but you don't need to pay X yourself. But every player can put X into it, and then every player gets X out of it. So for Collective Voyage, again, players can put X mana into it, and then everyone searches for a bunch of basic lands. So this one is also going in here. Collective Voyage. Okay, so let's just put this. Where is it? Oh, there is it. So I will just put this to the add cycle before I forget about it. Now what else do we have? We have Selvala Explorer Returned. Parley. Each player reveals the top card of his own library, so everyone gets information, which is always nice. For each non-land card revealed this way, then each player draws a card. Great one. Each player draws a card. Untap all permanents you control during each other player's untap phase. Seedborn use. Again, this works with Kenrith, but yeah. So we have the Noble Hierarch, we have the Lab Maniac, which wins you the game if you mill yourself out, which is probably not going to happen since you're not playing a Mesmeric Orb. We have Kiernos Anterior of Meletis. This was a commander from Commander 2016, I think, when they printed the 4-color commanders. So at the beginning of your end step, draw a card, and each player may put a land card from his or her hand onto the battlefield, and then each opponent who didn't draws a card. And you also can put a land card on the battlefield. So basically, you draw a card. Every player, including yourself, can put a land card onto the battlefield, and each opponent who did not can then draw a card. So you draw a card and put a land on the battlefield, and each opponent just draws a card or puts a land on the battlefield. So yeah, this one is nice. Kami of the Crescent Moon, again, at the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card, is fine. Humble Defender is another card that you can just tap, then you draw 2 cards, then you give it to an opponent, and then the card goes round and round and round and round. Hull Breacher, we got another stacks piece. If an opponent would draw a card, you get a draw instead. So that's not Grouphug. Now Gafsa, again, lets other players draw cards, therefore their creatures cannot attack you anymore. We have the February Elder, which again just rams yourself. Dockside Extortionist, while really powerful, just rams yourself, and probably people won't be playing that many mana rocks since you already gave them a bunch of lands. Bloom Tender, again, really powerful, and the next time target creature adapts this turn. Okay, this one is also just reducing the activated abilities of creatures. Okay, now let's have a look at the Planeswalker. Each player draws a card. Okay, so this one is just another everyone draws Planeswalker. Now let's have a quick look at the lands, because I think we will do some more interesting stuff with the lands here, like giving some other player unblockable creatures and stuff. But let's have a quick look. So we have the... okay, so can I just export the lands here? Is this possible? Okay, let me just save this deck. Okay, we will have a look at the lands later. I think we'll have a look at the lands later because there are another can of worms. Since there are some really fun lands for politic decks, and he is not playing them. He has an interesting land base, I guess. Yeah, okay, we'll look at the lands later. So at the moment we have one card we want to take out for sure. We have 5 cards we want to take out for sure because we are hell not playing any stacks pieces in a Grouphug deck. And we have 21 cards that we may take out. So now let's first of all add another win con, and this one is Mind Grind. And now let's go for the Collective Voyage cycle and let's see what else we can add there. Collective Voyage cycle. Because I have no clue how the other cards are called. This is not what I wanted to hear. So we are looking for Join Forces, right? So I know the white one gives you tokens, which is probably not what you want to do. The red one allows you to pump creatures. The blue one allows people to draw cards, which is great for this deck. So Mind's Aglow. Yeah, so the blue one just allows us to draw cards. Where do we have in? Add there. Now what else? We have the black one, which mills. Yeah, people are probably not going to pay for this. Now let's also just put in the questing Feldergriff here since it's a... oh no, next... well, okay, let's just put questing Feldergriff. Since it's a great politics card that also gets stronger and you can force people to draw. So we'll just put this to generic hack. And next off, we have a great cycle of cards which is called the Advocate cycle. Now Advocates are back from whatever, I think Judgment was the set. And the Advocates always function the same way. You tap them, then an opponent returns 1 to X cards from their graveyard to their hand, and then you do something positive for you. So my favorite one is the Shield Mage Advocate. Tap, return target card on opponent's graveyard to his or her hand, which is usually a removal piece that you give them back so they can get rid of something that you want them to get rid of. And then you prevent all damage that would be dealt to target creature or player this turn by a source of your choice. Now the wording here is really important because this gets round drought and hexproof. So yeah, this one is coming in. So I think which ones do we want? And we will, let me just have a look. So we don't need a Force Mage because we don't want to put +1/+1 counters on our stuff. We maybe want a Null Mage since it's removal. We want to maybe want a Pulse Mage since it's recursion if we have creatures. Wait, did I go through all the creatures? Yeah, I did. If we have creatures that we want to get back and we have some very powerful creatures, we will want a Shield Mage for sure, because the Shield Mage is just strong. We have the Spurn Mage Advocate, which can protect us, so we will want this one. Yeah, so we will first of all add a Spurn Mage Advocate and also the Shield Mage Advocate. And I think we will, for recursion, also add the Pulse Mage. Okay, so this one is, yeah, let's just put them to generic hack. So these advocates are great. Now, what else do we want to have in a Grouphug deck? And to get a great idea for card, we will now go to EDH track and just look for cards that I put in Feldergriffs. And damn it, how's this card written again? How is it spelled? I hate this card's name. Greatest card is I hate its name so much. Feldergriff. Feldergriff? Yeah. No. Wait a second. Oh, here, questing. Oh, yeah, right. I should put him into the add part, not in the. So actually, yeah, that was dumb. No, questing Feldergriff. Pheld. Hope that's enough. Phel. Oh, yeah, there we go. No, Feldergriff. Now you should get a couple of nice cards here. Now we could go for a Promise of Loyalty, which gets rid of one creature, but each creature with counters on it can't attack you or Planeswalker unless its controller pays X, raises the number of counters on the creature. So this one could be nice since you are in fact distributing counters, so this one is a great protection. But it's not really what we're looking for. Dictative Prefix. Every player draws a card and it has flash, so this one is a one that we want to get in here because more cards for everyone, right? And less libraries for everyone, since you only have 100 cards that we need to mill for us to win. Now, Dictative Kametra would another one that would double the mana of everyone. We already play Veteran Explorer. We already play Temporary Discovery. I already added Collective Voyage. Reigns of Power is a smaller but more achievable version of gain control of all creatures, especially if you don't have any. Now, Temple Bell is another everyone draws. Temple Bell, which is great. Now, we already play a Howling Mine. We probably want to play a little more counter spells, but we'll have a look at it soon. Folio of Fairies. Players have no maximum. Oh, each player draws X cards. Yeah, this one seems quite fun. Just force people to draw cards all day. I mean, just let people draw cards all day because we are so nice. And we are really, really nice people, so go wild, draw cards. I know you want to. And again, I just added it here instead of where I actually wanted to add it. Is it snowing? No, I think I just imagined that. I hope I just imagined that one. So we do not want to give everyone flash. Here we have another Ghostly Prison in the Windborne Muse. Noble Benefactor. If no one is put into any graveyard from play, each player may search library for any one card and put it. Okay, so this one is a tutor for everyone. Oh yeah, on the account of tutors, we want to play Scheming Symmetry. Since this allows us to tutor for something that we want, and it allows someone else to tutor for something that we also want, which is probably a removal spell. So they can get rid of whatever we want them to get rid of. Now here's Braids from the Time Spiral, I think, or just an alternative timeline where she's not actually making everyone miserable. Now we have the Odds of Advocate, which could be nice, but I don't really see it. So it basically allows you to put it allows each player to put counters on their creatures. And then if they do, they can't attack you this turn, which is fine-ish. No, Hardwood Storyteller would be great if it wasn't may draw a card. But if it's may draw a card, people will just start to skip on those draws. Oh no, Skullwinder is another great politics card. So Skullwinder is, for a Politic or Grouphug deck, actually a better Eternal Witness. So it is 1/3 in his Death Touch, so that already allows you to protect yourself quite well, because nobody likes to attack into a 1/3 Death Watch. And when it enters the battlefield, you get a card from your graveyard back, and then you choose an opponent, and that player also returns a card from his or her graveyard. So you got a big board, someone got a board wipe in their graveyard, Skullwinder, I get back whatever I want, and how about you take that board wipe and do something that helps everyone? So yeah, we will take the Skullwinder here and also add this one. Since it's a great card for politics. And politics is really how Grouphug decks can actually win. Politics and mill, that is. Now, We also have the Wall of Shards, which is quite fun, but it's not helping us in our win strategy. It has cumulative upkeep, an opponent gains 1 life. So what cumulative upkeep means, the first turn you have, or the second turn you have this, an opponent of your choice gains 1 life, the next turn an opponent of your choice gains 2 life, then 3 life, then 4 life, and so on. So at one point you are dishing out tons of health to your opponents. And for just 2 mana, it's a really, really nice Grouphug card, but it's a bit too Grouphuggy for us. Now we could go with Tazza's Oracle instead of Jace's Archivist, which is probably a good idea. But not Jace's Archivist, but Lab Maniac. Now we do want to go with Jace's Archivist though, since it's recurring Windfall. So for 1 blue mana and tap, each player discards their hand and then draws as many cards as the player who discarded most cards had. And this can get really annoying really fast, especially if someone had a really, really, really big hand. Now comes into play. Each player may draw up to Maze again. We are not looking for May effects. We cannot use May effects. Each player looks at the top 5 cards, reveals a land or instant or sorcery among and puts the card to their hand. Nope. Let's just go on. What else could I have forgotten? What else could I have forgotten that just helps everyone out having a great game and then helps you winning? Because this is what we are trying to do. Okay, so this one is also not what we are looking at. Fact or Fiction is a really good card for politic decks, since you can basically promise someone to, hey, you know what? I will know Fact or Fiction, I will give you something, like I will let you draw 5 cards with my commander. How about you just put all of the 5 cards in one stack? Because Fact or Fiction is reveal the top 5 cards of your library. An opponent separates those cards into 2 piles. Put 1 pile into your hand and the other one into your graveyard. So if one pile has 0 cards, the other one has 5 cards. You draw 5 cards. So yeah, this one is another thing that we should add, because this one is a really, really powerful draw in a Grouphug deck. So 4 mana, draw 5 cards is ridiculous, usually. Now, what else do we want to have? We should probably... Oh wait, can Kenrith put +1? Oh yeah. Kenrith, so Kenrith, just let me make him big. Kenrith can put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. So what we are going to include is a Spike Feeder. No, we are not going to include a Spike Feeder, but a Spike Weaver. Because this is really fun. Spike Weaver has 1 mana, remove a +1/+1 counter from Spike Weaver. Creatures deal no combat damage this turn. So you have unlimited Fox, and this will be fun for every creature deck because no one is dying. Yay! Spike Weaver, so you keep everyone alive. We are so nice people. I love Grouphug decks. I'm a bit concerned that the guy may not see this as a Grouphug deck anymore, but we'll see for that. Okay. Now we have Defense Protection, we have Nature's Claim. Each player might draw up to 2 cards. For each card less than 2, any player draws the player gains 2 life. It's not doing enough. Oh yeah, Blue Sun Zenith can also force someone to draw quite a lot of cards. Target player draws X cards. So this one is another win con. I have a feeling I'm changing up too many cards here. What else might we want to add? So green cards. Now here is interesting, since I may have forgotten about some of the every player searches their library for lands. New Frontiers. Oh yeah, nice one. We want this one. So each player may search his or her library for up to X basic land cards and put them onto the play tablet. Then, yeah, So this one is another, hey everyone, get lands, free lands for everyone, get your lands now and then we'll mill you, and oh, you don't have any more lands in your deck, that's such a pity, that's, unlucky. Until you can't attack you, remove escape from the game with 3 times. Time wipe. Each player may search his library for up to X creature cards, reveal those cards and put them into his or her hand. Then each player who searches this way shuffles it. Okay, so we probably do not want to let everyone search for creature cards because this will enable combos, and yeah, we don't want people to... We are already letting them draw a bunch of cards, so we don't want to let them combo as well. We'd rather let them search for more counter spells so they can prevent each other from comboing. Nature's Law, Winds of Abandon. Oh yeah, Winds of Abandon, another great spell that let everyone search for lands. Lets everyone have lands. We'll also go for a lot more basic lands in our own build, obviously, because we will be searching for a ton of basic lands as well. So what else can we go for? Oh yeah, show and tell. No, we are not going for show and tell. We are also not going for hypergenesis. What else is a great? Oh yeah, Otherworldly Atlas. Again, something that lets everyone draw. So we'll just consider this one. I'm not sure if it's actually going to make it, since for 4 mana it's quite an expensive card. Also, we just have a budget of $200, $200, I think, so I will need to keep that one in mind. Oh yeah, here, Font of Mythos, 4 mana, 2 extra cards for everyone each turn. Now, Norn's Annex is another Ghostly Prison effect or propaganda effect. Creatures can't attack you or planeswalker you control unless their controller pays a white Phyrexian mana for each of those creatures. So if they play white, they are fine. If not, they will need to pay 2 life for each creature that wants to attack you, which can be quite ugly quite fast. Oh, I forgot one thing, I think. Isn't he in here? Wait, let me just get him out here. Leovold. Emissary. Trest. Yeah, right. I totally meant Edric and not Leovold. Edric, whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, its controller may draw a card, so again, more cards for everyone. Now, where were we? We were looking at the artifacts. So I think we might want to add a crawl space. No more than 2 creatures can attack you each combat. Then again, maybe not. Gate to the Eater, Attempting Contract. What else do we? Each opponent who controls more creatures than you can play creature card. Hey, you got 20 cards in hand. But you can't play creatures, so so bad I don't have any creatures. Oh, that's really sad. Oh yeah, that's sad. Yeah. Anvil of Borgeron. Okay, so 60 euros is probably too much for another. Yeah, I'm holding mine. Now enchantments. So this one just gives 2 additional blue mana. Island Sanctuary, super good card. Skip drawing a card. So basically you skip your... I don't know what's the actual oracle. I think you skip your draw step. Let's just have a look at this one. I think you skip your draw step. Oh no, it's... Okay, I'm sorry. So you may skip one of the draws, and you probably get multiple in this deck, from your draw step. So you could draw 1 card less a turn. And if you do, until your next turn, you can't be attacked except by creatures with flying and/or island walk. So you basically force everyone, how about not attacking me? Which is great. Yeah, so this one is basically a mode in fair. Now, Reverence, creatures can't attack you, Commander's Awakening. Okay, we don't want to be the only ones drawing. I think we already have Well of Ideas in the... Well of Ideas is, to be honest, a bit expensive. With the Ferry's mode, again, we can prevent someone attacking with one color, but that's not really what we're looking for. We already did it, Collective Restraint, instead of the Ghostly Prison. Mana pools don't empty at the end of phases or turns. Now this one looks quite fun, but it's not helping us in our strategy, so we are not going to add it. During each player's upkeep, if that player controls fewer lands than target opponent, the player may search his library for a basic land card and put it... Oh, nice! Nice! Oh yeah, right, we have some Oath cards, right? Oath of... Yeah, Oath of Druids. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, they may search for a creature card. We do not want that. During each player's upkeep, if there are more creature cards in there, okay, so this one is Reanimate. We probably don't want that one. We have the Oath of Leeches, which will allow them to search for more lands. We will want that one. Oath of Mages, if target player has less life than target opponent. Wow. Really? Deal 1 damage. This is not really something that is all that impressive. Also of Scholars. During each player's upkeep, if that player has fewer cards in hand than target opponent, the player may discard his or her hand and draw 3 cards. Probably not going to happen. Also it's a maze, so we really want to force people to have fun and draw all the cards. Oh yeah, Forced Fruition, also a great spell to end the game really quickly. Whenever an opponent plays a spell, that player draws 7 cards. So let's say you play this one on... Let's just say you somehow manage to play this one on turn 3, when players still have 90 cards in their library. So in this case they have 15 spells they can play and then they're out. And have fun playing a game of Commander with 15 spells total. Since we are allowing, generously as we are, our opponents to draw a lot more cards, it will be much less than 15 spells that they can actually play. Yeah, so this is less of a... Yeah, well, it is still technically Grouphug, right? May draw a card is not what we want. Okay, we also do not want everyone to copy spells. Then again, probably not. Oh yeah, each opponent plays with the hand revealed, which is in theory great Grouper card. In practice, this card will make your game horribly sluggish because everyone will need to learn everyone's hand. And everyone will hate you for this card. So don't play it. Mirror Mate, you may have Mirror Mate, blah, Standstill. Oh yeah, Standstill is a fun card and it's not that good in this deck. But when a player plays a spell, sacrifice Standstill. If you do, each of that player's opponents draws 3 cards. Well, then again, you force a bunch of players to draw a bunch of cards. Let's just put this one in. Maybe. We'll add it to a maybe list. Cloud of Flowers is not a Grouphug spell. Hoodin of Seeing Winds is not a Grouphug spell. Now, let's just look for Kenrith, because he's probably the best Grouphug commander, and let's just look for his cards. And let's just go for a theme and realize that we cannot click on this. Grouphug, great. Tempting Contract, so maybe I missed any cards, because as I said, I haven't built a Grouphug deck in years. But most of these cards... Okay, so it's loading a bit slow. I hope the connection is great here. Hi, I'm Brady P. I hope you can learn something interesting about how to make everyone miserable while letting them draw cards. So everyone have to like it when you kill them. Each permanent in your starting deck has an activated ability. No, okay. Yeah, okay, so this one is another one that can reduce Kenrith's cost. Other permanents enter the battlefield tapped. Oh yeah, this one is fun with all the Ram spells. So we could add Zedra to just make Kenrith's cheaper. Maybe. Let's have another look. Tempting Worm comes to the page. Probably put. No, we do not want to let everyone just put stuff into play. That is a really, really bad idea and a recipe for losing. If you just allow other people to put stuff into play. At the beginning of each player's post-combat main phase, the player adds neutral mana for each opponent who lost life this turn. Unfortunately, you're also an opponent. Borderland Explorer, we already added this one, right? Let me just check. Oh no, we didn't. Great. More RAM for everyone. Now, we already... Oh yeah, this Grouphug is another way to get infinite combat. Yeah, infinite Fox with the stacks, and Fog is always a fun thing, because who doesn't like not receiving any damage? Now, what else do we want to have? So we might just add a Perplexing Chimera here, because basically Perplexing Chimera is a creature. Whenever an opponent plays a spell, you may exchange the control of that spell with Perplexing Chimera, and then they can do it. And so what is great about it is that you can just keep it open to whenever an opponent plays some kind of combo spell, and then you just take control of the combo spell, which will probably interrupt their combo and not have them win at this moment. Yeah, Nekusa would be... Nekusa is... In theory, Nekusa would be great, since whenever a player draws a card, they get 1 damage. In practice, this might not be seen as Grouphuggy, so it might also make you a target, so we will not do this probably. We will add a Chaos Warp though, since it's basically another Beast Within. So it falls in that category. You remove something, but then you also give something back, which will probably make people hate you less. And being hated less, or not as much as everyone else is hated, is the entire point of the stack. Oh yeah, game plan and other Windfall. It's great. Because who doesn't like drawing cards? Yeah, we are going to add a Tassa's Oracle. We do want Oracle. We do want another card to actually allow us to win if we have our own library empty, because I see this happening with all the changes that we made. Oh yeah, Play of the Game assist cards are just great for Grouphug decks. Play of the Game is a board wipe that you can play for 2 white mana if you get someone else to play 6 mana. Sylvan Armors is fine, but not what we need. The Great Aurora. Each player shuffles all cards from his hand and all permanents he owns into the library and draws that many cards. Each player may put any number of lands. Yeah, no, not going to do this one. We are going for a Wave of Ritual though. Wave of Vitriol. So Wave of Ritual, each player sacks all artifacts, enchantments and non-basic lands. And for each land sacrificed, they may search for a basic land, and probably at this point they won't have any more basic lands, so we are just not being that Grouphuggy anymore. But we need some removal. You can't play the game without board wipes if you're a Grouphug deck. Now, what else might I be forgetting? We might want to go with Venza's Journal, since it gives you additional life at the beginning of your turn. But I think we will rather prevent people from actually attacking us. Now, Curse of Portal is... Wait, does he bring back a permanent or a creature? Target creature card. Nah. Okay, you probably do not want this. Otherwise, at the beginning of your upkeep, starting with you, each player votes for Carnage or Homage. And if Carnage get more votes, you sacrifice it and destroy all non-land permanents. Otherwise, you draw a card. So yeah, it's just you, not everyone. Not that great. Any player may play creature and enchantment spells anytime he or she could play an instant. Yeah, no, we do not want to give everyone flash. Whenever a creature in opponent control dies, you get treasure tokens, which is also a win con that you can use, but probably not. At the beginning of each player's end step, that player draws a card. If the player is your opponent and has 4 or more cards in hand, they get 2 damage. Yeah, this might want you be hated, but 2 damage is not all that much, so we'll put this one and Nekusa into a maybe pile. Oh yeah, we already have Nekusa in here. Okay. Return target creature from graveyard to any player. Okay, no, not this one. Now, Send from Convergence would be another great spell to protect yourself in case everyone starts to hate on you. But if everyone starts to hate on you, you did something wrong with the Grouphug. Now, what else? Mana Cache. At the beginning of each player's turn, put a charge counter on Mana Cache for each untapped land that player controls. Remove a charge counter from Mana Cache, add 1 colorless mana to your mana pool. Any player may play this ability, but only during his or her turn before the... This is an interesting card that I never saw before. So basically, if you end your turn with untapped lands, you get mana on here, and then people can... Yeah, okay. But basically, if one player can just take everything out here because there's no more mana burn and it's not tied to actually using the mana, don't like it. I mean, we could take mana burn in here, but we won't. We do not want everyone to be miserable because they have to suddenly play with mana burn. Now, in case you don't know, mana burn was a rule, I think, back to 2013 or maybe 10, I think it got removed. Basically, if you had unspent mana in your mana pool at the end of a phase, each unspent point of mana would deal 1 damage to you. So that's also why there are some cards like... let me just pull this one up, Scryfall. There are some cards like... I will now need to look for a red card that has cumulative upkeep. Yeah. Just look for upkeep. Because I'm not... so where is it? Here, Braids of Fire. So Braids of Fire is an enchantment for 1 and a red, and it has cumulative upkeep, add red to your mana pool. So from today's perspective, this one is... Yeah, I just get a ton of free mana if I play this one. But back in the day when it was originally printed, you really had to have some way to get actually rid of this mana, because otherwise the mana would burn you and kill you. But yeah, another fun card, but not for this deck. Just a little bit of Magic history. So we could go for a Prismatic Omen, since this would help us on 2 cards, but yeah, Prismatic Omen could be a really good card, but it's also expensive, so maybe not. So yeah, we'll have a look at the land base later, as I said. Okay. Now I think, okay, are there any artifacts that I missed? Each player of your choice adds, yeah, so there are some artifacts that lets you give mana to other players, which we don't need. Oh yeah, this one is nice. Coveted Jewel. Enters the battlefield, you draw 3 cards, you add 3 mana, and whenever a player attacks you, they get Coveted Jewel. Yeah, you can just force your opponents to attack each other and draw even more cards, which is great. I mean, they will attack you once, but what's being attacked once even do? Unless it's 21 commander or 10 infect damage. Okay, so we'll look at the land base later. Now, I think we'll take out the Insurrection win con. how much am I adding at the moment? I think I'm adding way too much. We might need to remove some of the add cards. Now I will need to search for all of those cards in case there are any May effects in there, because I didn't look for them specifically. And we really don't want our opponents to be able to decide whether or not they actually want to draw cards, but we just want to shove these cards right into their hands so they don't have anything in their library anymore. Now let's just have a quick look over here. So May play an additional land, and that player draws 3 cards if they have no lands in hand. So that's not going to happen. They're not going to have no lands in hand, no cards in hand. So this one is going out. Gaffa. With this one we can prevent an opponent from attacking us, which is great. Horn of Greed. Plays a land, the player draws a card, has no May, great. Holy Mind draws an additional card, great. Humble Deflector, this one allows them to draw cards, however you can give it to a player that's in need of cards, so great. Intellectual Offering, draw cards, untap lands, perfect. Everyone draws a card, perfect. That player draws an additional card, there's no May in there, perfect. Kianos, again, forces you to draw cards if you don't have lands, that's fine. Each draws 3 cards, this one is probably not good enough. Since drawing 3 for 3 really is not that bad, but we have so much card draw in here for everyone that we are not in need of any more card draw. And this one draws an additional card, this one draws multiple additional cards, especially since we can just put +1/+1 counters on it easily with Kenrith. And we have Windfall, which will allow us to let everyone wheel. This one is fine. Enchantments, Fevered Vision. Oh yeah, this one also stuff that I wanted to add, right? Yeah. Where are my add cards? Where are my add cards? There, add. Oh wow. There are too many cards. I will need to put some out of there. Okay, so next of all, we have the removal, we have the Beast Within, which is fine, we have the Culling Ritual. I mean, I guess it gives us a bunch of mana so we can play even more draw spells, so it's fine. We have the Cyclonic Rift, we have the Generous Gift, we have Obligate. We are also adding more removal since we are really in need of more removal here. Now we have Tempt with Immortality, everyone can revive stuff. We can already revive something if we want to do it with our commander, be it for us or for an opponent. So I guess this one is going out since it's not actually helping our game plan. We have nothing big to revive. And I think the same thing is also true with Tempt with Reflection. So Tempt with Reflection usually will be we just put a copy of a creature into play for 4. Because our opponents probably will not want to copy something like Spike Feeder, or well, they might want to copy something like Spike Feeder. Okay, maybe. Let's put this one to maybe out. Okay. Now let's go on. Hug Tutors, Scheming Symmetry is actually a card that I wanted to put in here, so it's not actually, it does not actually belong here. So we have our win cons, these 2 are fine. We have the Hug Tutor, which is fine. We have some cards that we are taking out. This one is also not. I'm gonna adding way too many cards. I will remove most of them. So now I think the 2 mana signets are actually fine. I will need to look at the mana bay. Let me just in deck no. Edit. Now let me have a look at the stats. So at the moment we have 16 cards that we can still play for 2 mana. Which really tells me that we don't need... Do we have 16 cards that we can play for 2 mana? Oh yeah, we do. Yeah, so we don't really need the... Wait, do we? I'm not... Wait. So at the moment we have total 15 cards for 2 mana. Okay, so let me try to get this in again. Edit. Yeah, okay, no, we have 17. Yeah, so we really don't need the 2 mana cards here. In the... Okay, we have some 2 mana cards here. Now let's get these ones out. In deck, no, edit. Now. What do we have here? So, do we want to untap our lands? We really only do this for Kenrith, and Kenrith allows us to let someone draw a card for 4, so maybe not. I mean, Training Grounds is fine. So let's put this one to Kenrith support. Training Grounds is fine, it's just 1 mana. Every activated ability is 2 cheaper, it's fine. Now I think the Bird of Paradise is also fine, since it will allow you to ramp on turn 1 to just get to turn 3 faster. And the Bloom Tender is also fine, since it will allow you to ramp and actually do something with all of your cards. Yeah, the Aligned Tutor is quite important, since it will allow us to tutor for our protection cards, which we don't have that many of. And we also want to keep the Lab Maniac. And we want to keep the Sol Ring because, yeah, Sol Ring. We also want the Noxious Revival and the Noble Hierarch. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I don't like this. Now, I would be really glad my favorite browser if you would not crash right now. That would be just great, you know, because I have no idea when I clicked on save the last time. I would really like it if you would not crash. Now, what does my task manager tell me? My task manager tell me Google Chrome, Google Chrome, Google Chrome, Google Chrome. Sure, Google Chrome, take some more processes, probably. Okay, so do my other Chrome tabs still function? No. Okay, Google Chrome just faced a complete and utter crap. Okay, let me just try to wait for an answer from the program. And then I'll probably start to cry. Oh wait, I hope I hit the save button sometime. How is it possible that you still need to hit a save button? This site really needs a backup in case of something like this happens. Yeah, the browser is probably dead. Okay, great. That's just dandy. Oh wait, let's restore the sites, probably. Okay, so I think we had... Oh, fuck me. Please tell me that's not a deck that I was editing. You could check your own VOD to see the last deck history. Give me a second. Will do. My decks. Grouphug, Kenrith. Okay, so this is not looking that bad. We have still 31 cards that we are adding. We already did put an ego card. Okay, so great. I saved almost everything. Almost, I think. Yeah, so wait, this one is to add. Yeah, okay, so I've saved quite a lot, I think. I think I saved quite a lot. Oh no, I didn't. I think I saved everything that I wanted to add, but not everything that I wanted to take out, right? Yeah, it looks that way. Yeah, okay. So, that could be it could be worse. Also, how do I check my VOD to see the last deck history? Ah, you my own video. Yeah, I could do this, right? But I think we are fine with this one. If any card fell out, I just count it as one less thing I need to cut. Okay, now let's put this to the out category. And also let me just open up the window because I'm melting here. Oh wait, no, let me not open up the windows because there are kids outside and I would... my mind would melt if I had to hear them cry all day. No. This one is also an add card. Yeah, I think I have everything that I wanted to add here. Okay, now, this one is two out, this one is two out. Yeah, there's almost everything that, yeah. There's not much that I actually need to do. Okay, mana for everyone. Let me just check these ones through. Wait, I'll do later. Okay, now let me look at the ego cards again. So which one did I say to keep? cheap ego cards. Now, again, Signet is out. This one is also not in the deck. Biomancer's Familiar is in, I guess. Bloom Tender is in. Chromatic Lantern is out. Cultivate is out. Demonic Tutor is out. Dockside is out. Wait, actually Demonic is in. We'll rather take Enlightened out. Where's the Enlightened? There's the Enlightened Tutor. Maybe we'll even leave the Enlightened in. Ferbero Elder is out. Jeweled Lotus is out. Lab Maniac is in. Kodama's Reach is out. Felwar Stone is out. Felwar Stone is out, yes. Farseek is out. Noble Hierarch is in. Yox's Revival is in. Soaring is in. Seedborn Muse is fine. This one is out. Okay, now. How do I get these cards? I know how I get them. Now, let's just put them in the deck again. And I'm adding way too many cards. Now, what do we want to get rid of? I think some of the mana for everyone cards, because we do not actually want everyone to have unlimited amounts of mana. Whenever a player taps a land for mana, that player adds. So for 5 mana, we get a creature that gets more mana. Veteran Explorer is great. This one mills, this one mills, this one mills, this one mills. I think we just take out double mana stuff. We also take out the Helm because it will kill you. The Helm will just kill you. So again, Awakening will allow you to play Kenrith, but I think we will take this one out as well. Okay, now let's put this one to ego cards. Now let me have a quick look at our mana base. So we have a lot of cards for 2 mana. That's great because we can actually play them. Now, let me save this one. So at the moment we are at 113 cards, so I will need to cut 30 more cards. Now first of all, let's have a look if there's any May draw here. Borderline Explorer, no. So I'll not count the mana ramp cards as May draw because people are always going to get a land here. Now I think the Coveted Jewel can go out again. Dictate of Quillfix draws an additional card. I think this one can... maybe. Fact or Fiction can go out. I think we are drawing enough. Fevered Visions will probably go out since people will hate you for the most ridiculous reasons, even if it's just getting 2 damage for getting 10,000 cards each turn. Okay, so this one stays in, this one stays in. Mind Funeral and Mind Grind are two new win cons. Mind's Aglow is great. Nekuzar will be out. They will just... I'm not sure. So Nekuzar and is really a maybe. Prosperity, each player draws 6 cards is fine. We'll probably take Zenith of the Blue Sun out because we already have everyone draws. We don't need another, we just redraw. So we'll take Standstill out, I guess. I mean, it's 2 mana, almost everyone draws a card. Let's just take. So these are just the Fox that we need. And I think this is all the protection that we actually need. So at the moment we are at 110 cards. Now what else? Let's maybe get out Edric, since this one encourages people to attack and we are group hugging, so we do not want them to attack each other. Let's take out Fevered Visions and Nekuzar because they actually make people hate us and we do not want this. Now we still need to take out 7 cards and then we will need to have a look at the mana base. Wait, let me have a look at let me have another look at the ego cards. What do our stats say at the moment? At the moment it says we are mostly on 1, 2 and 3 mana, which is just great because we will be able to play a lot of cards. What do we actually want to take out? What is actually not doing enough? So let's check the draw for everyone card. Scuffer is making people not attacking us or forcing them not to attack us, which is fine. Horn of Greed, whenever a player plays a land, that player draws a card. This one is fine-ish. I mean, players are not really playing lands, they are putting lands into play with this deck because we will draw a lot of lands out of their deck, and this means they don't have that many lands in the hand, and this means they can play them but just put them into play. And putting a land into play is not going to trigger Horn of Greed, so we are taking Horn of Greed out. Now, this one is fine. You can help a player that needs the help. This one is also fine. Jace Beleren just draws 1 card each turn, that's fine. Kami draws 1 card each turn, that's fine and can be recurred with Kenrith. J are great. Oh yeah, we already took those out, I remember, so that was not safe then. So we need to take 5 more cards out. Walking Archive is just fine. Selvala just let everyone draw a card each turn and ramps you, which is fine. Now, Temple Bell for 3 mana forces everyone to draw. And that's basically what we want to do. Now, what can we... Oh, I think I know which card is missing here. Oh, no. Wait, is it? Yeah, I think I know which card is missing here. And why is it open twice? I really don't like this website being open twice. I will just work with the wrong version of it and then destroy everything that I worked upon. I think we really want... wait, no, maybe not. Let's just go on. Just thought about a card that makes all your lands all basic land types, but maybe we'll... Let me have a look at the land base. So this one maybe is a bit slow since we don't have any proliferate. Okay, so basically, compared to Temple Bell, if you play Temple Bell on turn 3, turn 3 everyone draws a card, turn 4 everyone draws a card, turn 5 everyone draws a card. If you play this one on turn 4, you put a charge counter on it, turn 5 you put a charge counter on it, turn 6 you use it, everyone draws 3 cards, so it gets equal at turn 7 if you want 3 charge counters on it. Which is fine, yeah, we have the mana to play this one is fine. Now we might want to get rid of Mind Funeral, since it just targets one opponent and not everyone. And also if it hits your graveyard too soon, it might be an indication of what you are trying to do. Then again, sometimes you just need to take out one opponent that really so what can we take out? What to take out? What to take out? Okay, so we are leaving the hands from the protection. We just need... If anything, we need more protection, not less. I think we take out Biomancer's Familiar. We have no way to tutor for him. We can tutor for Training Grounds. And I think Training Grounds is fine together with the Hearthstone. 4 more cards to cut. So I think we also get rid of the mana dogs, because we have other 1 mana cards that we can play that everyone will love because they get more mana. And if not, we can start turn 2. So starting turn 2 is not the worst thing to happen to us if we are a Grouphug deck, since we are not playing in CEDH. Now we need to remove 2 more cards. What do we want to remove here? what do we want to remove here? That's the big question. Okay, let's just put this over here so I have a better overview. Okay, so I think what we'll do now is to just clone this deck and get everything sorted into the categories, and then I will decide on what 2 cards need to get the cut. So I will leave this one there though, because I want to have the list of all the cards that I'm adding, so just so I can write an explanation to him. And now let's make the copy and let's just sort everything out. So what the fuck happened what happened right now? Copy of Grouphug Kenrith, yes. Okay, that's my copy, right? Is this my copy? Decks, my decks. Copy of Grouphug Kenrith. Okay, let me just look at these two. Yeah, okay, so these are exactly the same. Almost exactly the same. Because apparently these 2 categories change on the side depending on whatever. Good. Now let's see. We have mana for everyone. Removal, protection. Yeah, right. Mana for everyone. Draw for everyone. Draw for everyone. Draw for everyone. Draw for wait, no, that's actually in win con. That's not draw for everyone. That's not. Okay, we can also cut this one. Game plan is also draw for everyone. This one is protection. Draw for everyone. This one is a win con. This one is a win con. Draw for everyone. This one is mana for everyone. Oh, we are so nice. Draw for everyone. This one is protection. This one is protection. This one is draw for everyone, or actually win con. This one is protection. This one is other politics. This one is a hack tutor. This one is protection. 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 This one is draw for everyone, and this one is draw for everyone, and this one is a win con. This one is protection, and this one is also protection. Alrighty, 2 cards to go. I think we will go to remove the Illusionist's Bracers, because we only have our commander as an activated ability and Feldergriff. Yeah, we'll also remove the Feldergriff, as much as I like it. No, okay, we'll keep Illusionist's Bracers since we can copy a lot more stuff with it. Now, so win con. We need to cut 1 more card. I think we'll cut a Bloom Tender. Now let me have a quick look at the stats of the deck. Yeah, mana cost 2 still have a lot of cards to go, and this one should be fine now. Alrighty, so let's write this up. At ED, I got around to look at your deck. Here is the deck list I'd suggest. Some explanations. I took out all the hard cards that wouldn't actually further your game plan, and also removed the Insurrection win con, since it always felt cheaty to me, and if people realize you run it, they will just kill you. Because everyone hates this card. This is probably true. I've added some other ways for the deck to win. First, Tassa's Oracle Lab Maniac. The deck now has a lot more draw power for everyone, so this should allow you to win the game in some cases. Second, Mind Grind, Mind Funeral. I added a lot of cards that will allow everyone to search their library. Oh well, I still need to adjust the mana base, I just realized. So we will need to look at this for lands. And these cards will mill you until you found X or 4 lands. X for lands. So if you ramped a lot, no lands, no library, you win. So I think these were all the win cons that I added, right? Yes, these were the ones that I added. Now, categories. You win. Now I won't go over each card that I've added, but just to give you an overview of what I've added in each category. So now first category is draw for everyone. This is what you will be doing most of the time. Let everyone draw and then draw. Oh damn it, I didn't want to actually put this one out. So Hack Tutor. Just added another tutor that allows you to tutor for the stuff that you need and let someone else tutor for stuff that you also need. Probably removal to get rid of a problematic permanent. Now what else did we add? We have the ego cards. I didn't add anything there. Wait, did I? No. Mana for everyone. Added some cards here that will allow players to search for lands and put them into play, synergizes with Wincon. Let me just go up here and you may take the single target out if you don't feel like killing a single player is fine. Now, mana for everyone, we just did this one. Now next off we also have the protection cards, and this one will be a little bit more. These cards will protect you from a number of sources. Let me highlight some of the card choices. Arcane. So some of the cast. I mean, he will probably know what most of them are about. Oh wait, this is a win con. Forced fruition. Your opponents draw. Everyone draws 7 cards on every spell that escalates quite quickly. Now protection. What are interesting protection cards? I just basically a fog for everything not flying, since you will draw lots of additional cards. You can easily skip one draw from your draw step. Another one on that note is the, let me just look this one up. Did I did another white? Didn't I add collective restraint? Collective restraint. Huh, I didn't. Okay, let's just put this one in and put Mind Funeral away. That's fine. Now, collective restraint. Collective restraint. If you have all basic land types out, they need to pay 6 for each attacking creature in comparison to Ghostly Prisons 2. Now, what else do we have? Wave of Vitriol, Pulse, and Winds of Abandon. These cards pull more decks out of their. These cards pull more lands out of your opponent's deck for Mind Blind. Advocates. These cards are great since they allow you to gain some value and at the same time return some removal, counter spell, whatever, to an opponent's hand who currently needs it. Win-win. Now what else is interesting here? Spike, Weaver, and Spore Frog with Kenrith's ability to dist +1/+1 counters or to reanimate. You can fog as many times as you want and keep everyone alive and happy. Now another important note. Shield Mage Advocate goes around ignores Shroud hexproof, so save some unlucky dude from commander damage. Okay, so we got this one. Skullwinder. Same as basically an Eternal Witness Advocate. Get something you need and have someone else get something you also need. Now, did I add anything else here? I think, yeah, Perplexing Chimera. Just having her hanging around is a great way to keep an opponent from comboing. So now. Oh, damn it. Okay, so now I will need to have a look at the land base. So I will make another copy of the deck and then Kenrith land base, because we will need to have some basic lands in here at least. Why ever I'm landing here? I don't get it. So edit. Yes? What are you doing? Architect is a bit buggy today. Okay, so now let's just get rid of everything that's not land base. So I have all the space that I need to actually edit the land base. Okay, great, that we're already done. Now we have the, what are these actually called? The Stadium lands. What are the 2 or more opponent lands called? Battle lands? No. Bond lands. Okay, so we have bond lands. Bond lands, which are not great because they don't have any basic land types. We have shock lands, which are great. We have Cabal Coffers, which are utility lands. We have Rainbow lands. Rainbow lands we probably won't need this. We probably will get rid of at least this one rainbow land. Exotic Orchid will stay in, Forbidden Orchid will stay in. We have basic lands. Oh, it's already running basic lands, that's fine. If he's running, maybe I just didn't see the bait. Oh wow, it seems like he's running a good chunk of basic lands. This one is a shock land. I think I can let this one is a utility land. This one is not really a land, so he's running 33 lands. Each player draws a card, perfect. This one is another bond land. Another basic land. We do want to add a desert. Desert here? No, not a desert. Waste. A waste here. Okay, so this one is another utility land. We also want to probably add a Jummy Java here, so we have some more Grouphug stuff, so everything is a forest. Okay, so he has all the bond lands in here. Alright, so I guess he also won't be able to spend that much on the mana base. Let me just pull up the deck again. Architect. And my decks. Now, since I will need to get the stats of the deck. So at the moment we have show color identities. 9. Oh yeah. Okay, so most of our deck is blue and green. We actually don't really have that many. Wait, mana cost is outer and production is inner. So we don't really have many red or black cards. We really mostly have bond colors, so blue, green, and white. So we should reflect this in our Jummy Java. Jummy, I have no clue. Cradle of Growth. No clue how to spell this land. So we can probably take out at least what? No, out. There's already out one. Okay, so this one is in, just so I can edit them quicker later. So we really don't need this. And also let's put this to not in deck. We really don't need this one. We'll also take out Cascading Cataract since we don't actually have any rainbow cards in here, so we really don't need to have something that gives us access to rainbow mana. Now we will need, we can probably get rid of the Wall of the Champions. And I think red and white is also okay to get rid of, since white is really more of our removal color and most of our protection color, so we don't need to access it right away. We are fine if we can get access to white later. What's really important to us is blue and green. So we will add one mountain and we will add a waste because we have 2 spells that care for basic land types, I think. So what else do we want? So these cards are fine. So we have 13 basic lands at the moment, 15 basic lands, which is also fine. I think I will strip a swamp here, and I will add an island for it, since this should allow us to. Let me just make a note here, so I will do this in the actual deck list: minus swamp plus island. Okay, now let's just look for Kenrith lands on ETH track in case I forgot any great lands that we want to use. Kenrith group EDH track. Because I'm not quite sure on the utility lands outside of Jummy Java what we actually want to run. I mean, we could run a lot of stuff like Rogue's Passage, where we could make something unblockable to be able to kill someone. Could run a Reliquary Tower, or maybe a Gyreach Sanctuary so everyone draws more cards. We could go with a Homeward Pass to help out against Grouphug, but could go for a Field of Ruin. Again, to get everyone searching more cards. Oh yeah, I think a Field of Ruin is a good idea. I think land destruction is really something that more people should play. You just need it way too often. Yeah, and I think we're already fine with that, right? Yeah, I think that's already fine. So let's put this one to in. Now we have 4 lands that we want to put out. We have 4 lands that we want to add. That's fine. So let me just copy this to the actual deck list. So we are taking out Vault of Champion. We are also taking out the Spectator Scolding. We are also taking out the Training Center. And we are taking out the Cascading Cataracts. And we have in here the Field of Ruin. We will have in here Javimaya. Let's Cradle of Growth, so everyone gets access to green because we are nice people. We get in here 1 wastes. Wastes. And we'll get in here a mountain. Now, these should be fine. So let's just write this out. I also made some small changes to your land base. Wait, what did we actually do to this land base? Architect, show me his land base, and then this deck is finished. My decks. No, wait, this is not a land base. This is the land base, which I didn't save. Great job. Took some bond lands and Cascading Cataracts out. Swapped. Oh wait, I didn't swap the island for the swamp. The swamp for the island. Swamp for an island. Blue and green are the most important colors. Added mountain and wastes. Wastes is a basic land type. 2 cards care about this. And Javimaya, so everyone can be happy, and this is 2 green. Okay, so this one should be it. Now, what is his name? Eddie. So, if you have any further questions, feel free to add Shadow Drop, ask me, or just close this workshop, by typing close. So, this is our first workshop for the day. Do you have any questions? One more triumph, since they have 3 land types. That is an interesting idea Mercadian mentioned. Mercadian Merchant, so this one. Usually I don't like the triumphs since they always enter tapped. But in this case, they could be worse. The issue is that I have with the triumphs here is that he doesn't have any fetch lands. So he can't actually search for basic land types, but he's also always either searching for lands or for basic lands. So he doesn't have any card that searches for basic land type like a forest. So the Trime would be interesting if we had a way to search for them, and if he was playing fetch lands, I would include him for sure. He could still include him if he finds himself not being able to consistently get his basic land types up. But I think at the moment I would let him out, since, yeah, I mean, he's also, yeah, he could. I'm really not sure about him. Maybe it's just because I'm personally not that big of a fan of them. But yeah, you could totally put in the triumphs here to more easily get the collective restraint up if you need protection. That's completely fine. I think it's really just my personal bias that I